In this video, I'll show you an easy technique that you can use to paint pretty sunflowers in acrylic paints. I'll explain all of the steps needed to paint your own sunflowers. However, if you'd like to watch the full-length tutorial where you can paint this exact painting with me in real time, then head over to my Patreon, Rachel Froud Art, where you can join and get instant access to all of my full-length art tutorials. To begin painting your sunflower, you can mix up a few shades of natural green. I explain how to mix natural shades in my colour mixing videos, so I'll link to those below. Use a small paintbrush to paint the stalk. You don't need to add too much detail here, just use the darker greens in the shadowed areas and the lighter greens in the highlights. Continue to use the same shades of green to paint the leaves. It helps to follow a reference image so that you know where the shadows and highlights fall, as well as where to place the details. You can use your own reference, or if you'd like to download the one that I'm using, that's available with the full-length tutorial on Patreon. You can also download the line drawing for these sunflowers so that you can sketch the outline onto your canvas before you start painting, like I have. I'm going to show you the technique to paint sunflowers using the flower on the right-hand side. We can start by painting the centre. It's quite dark, so mix some brown paint with yellow and orange to create a range of shades. Paint the darkest shade in the centre and around the edge, and then fill in the rest with a slightly lighter shade. Then, use a small paintbrush and a lighter shade of paint to add lots of little dots across the centre of the flower. This is a really simple and effective way to add the texture. To start painting the petals, we'll paint just the darkest sections first. This will mainly be close to the centre and in the shadows where the petals overlap. Use a dark yellow-orange shade and paint just these darker sections on all of the petals. Later in the video, I'll show you the simple highlight technique that really makes the petals look three-dimensional. Then use a slightly lighter yellow oxide shade of paint to fill in the rest of the petals. You'll start to see the shape and form of the sunflower coming together at this stage. Don't worry too much about blending yet, just focus on getting all of the petals painted. Next, we can go back and increase the contrast slightly by darkening some of the shadows. We can also neaten everything up by blending the yellow oxide into this darker shadow colour. It helps to do this a few petals at a time so that you can blend while the paint is still wet. Continue to do this for all of the petals. Now we can start building up the highlights. Mix a brighter shade of yellow with a little bit of white paint and use that to paint the lighter sections of each petal. Remember to keep looking at your reference image to see exactly where the highlights are, as they may be different from the photo that I'm working from. Start subtly at first, using a yellow that's only a shade lighter than the petals, then we can gradually build up the brightness as we go. Add a little bit more white paint to your yellow mixture to brighten it further, and add this to the brightest areas of the highlights. At this stage you'll start to see that your sunflower is looking much more three-dimensional as the increased contrast makes it appear more realistic. To add the very brightest highlight, mix a very light shade of yellow that's almost white and use it to paint just the most highlighted sections of each petal. This will help to bring out the petals that are catching the sunlight the most. Finally, to finish, we can make the colours a little bit more vibrant if needed. If you want to keep your colours really natural, you may want to skip this step, but with my painting I felt like I wanted the colours to be slightly brighter. To do this, I used transparent shades of orange and yellow paint and applied very small amounts over the areas that I wanted to be a bit more saturated. And that's all you need to do to paint these lovely sunflowers. If you'd like to watch the full-length tutorial for this painting, just head over to my Patreon. And don't forget to like and subscribe to see more art videos like this.